In this video, I'm going to share with you guys how our land investing business spits out $25,000 a month on autopilot and recurring revenue, and how every month we sell $50,000 to $200,000 plus in gross profit from cash sales. Let's go. Sorry for the extreme intro. If you guys are new here, my name's Sumner Healey. I run a business called landinvestor.co. We help folks start, grow, and scale land investing businesses. If you guys want to get in the room with other 6 and 7 figure land investors, click the link down below to join the Leah Discord. Now, in this video, I'm going to share how we have 2 separate verticals within our land business and how, frankly, we look at the land business pretty different than most other people. So in order to discuss this, let's sit down, let's get comfortable together. Now, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but frankly, most people in the land business think pretty simply, right? They think about doing deals, being an investor, and going along their merry way. Well, the way I look at things, the way our community looks at things, is building a conveyor belt, right? I always tell people land is just a widget. You could change it out for anything else. Could be cars, could be houses, could be boats, could be whatever. Flip of the widget, the model still remains the same, right? What we're doing is we've got acquisitions, operations, dispositions. And so what we're doing is buying land at a discount by going direct to owner. That's from one marketplace. We're bringing that land inside. We're going and dispoing it and selling it to another marketplace, right? It's a very simple business model. People do this all day long, flipping couches, flipping cars. It's all the same thing. So the way we've looked at our business is say, hey, we've got a conveyor belt here, okay? And what we do is we've got 40 or 50 set processes that happen from start to finish, from getting a deal in our pipeline to getting the deal sold, right? There's just this really clean conveyor belt. And what we've done is we've gone and created roles at each step of the way. You see, what happens is most land investors, they're either the one creating the conveyor belt and running the conveyor belt. They're running down along it, trying to do all the things, or they have 1 or 2 VAs or team members that are running down along the whole thing, trying to figure it out. You know, if you walked into the General Motors plant, you would never see someone on the conveyor belt starting at one end, doing a thing, running down to the other end, doing another thing. They would have very clear verticalized roles. So there's someone at the start of the conveyor belt, there's someone at the middle of the conveyor belt, someone at the end of the conveyor belt. And obviously there's more than 3 roles in a land business, but to keep it very simple, let's just break it down. You get the front end, you get the middle, you get the back end. So to each step of the way, one person is responsible for one set task or one set series of tasks, then it moves down the conveyor belt. And so once you build this infrastructure, really, it's just about putting more land on the conveyor belt and putting more capital into that machine, because every deal we buy requires capital. And I've always been intrigued by building a land business where we can go and do big cash sales, right? Deals where we sell them for 50 grand and we make 100 grand. Buy for 100 grand, make 250 grand. Those are really big injections of cash that we get. We call these liquidity events, okay? You do a couple of those deals a month, a couple of deals of those a quarter, you make a lot of money. Now, the problem is, you're left at the end of the year saying, well, what do I do with all this money? Because the way you run that model is by leveraging OPM or other people's money, right? So you're not even shelling out the money to go put into the deals. And so you just start stacking cash in your business. And if you're like me, you're probably not a great investor. I'm not Warren Buffett. I don't really know where to put this money. And so what I started thinking is, well, I've got this conveyor belt in place. So what if I put more land on this conveyor belt, but instead of selling this land for cash sales, we went and sold this land via owner financing. Now, a lot of our owner financing deals, we make 500, 700, 1,000%, 2,000% returns on these owner financing deals. I mean, we have deals where you buy them for 1,000, refinance them over 5 years and make 12,000, 15,000. The returns are just extraordinary, right? So we can compound our money with these crazy owner finance deals. We can get monthly cash flow from them because people pay monthly, and that can kind of be the second arm of our business. And so the way I've looked at this is put these big equity deals, right? We're going after big deals that have real intrinsic value. You're trying to buy them at a discount and buy equity in them. And then you flip those for cash. Now you take a set amount of those proceeds and you go and reinvest it into owner finance inventory. And every year in our business, we add about $1 million to $2 million a year of total note value by just taking an additional amount of those proceeds and putting them into these owner finance deals. So we have our cash engine that's just spitting out cash, and then we're building this really big note portfolio in the background that's just kind of turning over these deals slowly but surely. We're getting monthly cash flow from them. And so what that's led to is this really steady stream of recurring revenue that every month, about 25 grand comes back into our business. And that's just like clockwork. We can predict that, count on it, as sure as the sun's shining tomorrow. And from there, we can either reinvest that money back into doing more owner finance deals, or what's happened at a lot of points in our business is we've gone through inflections. We've gone through moments where we're saying, we're going through a new objective, we're gonna go solve this new problem, we're gonna go for this big push. And what can happen is anytime you're taking on a new objective in your business, it's natural that there might be a lapse in revenue. There might be a step back in progress. All right, before we get back to the video, I wanna just share one thing. We've launched our land investing scholarship program. This gives you access to the Leah Group Coaching Program via our scholarship. We are accepting 10 members every month, starting this month. If you guys want to apply, you'll see the link down below in the bio. Anyways, back to the video. That old saying of one step back, two steps forward is really, really common inside of running a business. Anytime I want to go and tackle a new problem, we see a step back typically before a big leap forward. And what that's allowed us to do is by having that consistency of that recurring revenue that comes into our business every month, we've been able to take really big swings. We've been able to go after big outcomes. We've been able to actually pivot our business multiple times. And the only way we would have been able to do that is by having the support of that recurring revenue. Now I'll give you guys an example. So 8 months ago or so, we said, hey, we want to start going after bigger deals. And really, if you know anything about land, once you start doing $500,000, $1 million, $2 million deals, you're pretty much never going to buy them at the same discount that you can buy a $50,000 property or a $5,000 property. You just don't see the same inefficiencies in those markets. And those owners are more savvy, right? They're higher in the socioeconomic totem pole. They typically don't need a lot of money now. So selling their $1 million property at $500,000 is not intriguing to these people. So typically you're going to come in and buy them at 70, 80% of retail value, maybe even a little bit higher. And the only way to make that math pencil is by adding value to the deal. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do this, but the way that we've been focused on is, okay, let's chop it up into smaller increments, right? We just bought a 60-acre property. We chopped it up into 6 10-acre lots, and we're selling each 10-acre lot off individually. So that's the playbook there. And what's really interesting is these deals are very profitable. It's an amazing kind of addition to our business, but they're really hard to get. The amount of marketing that it takes and the amount of time it takes in terms of a sales cycle working with these sellers is really slow. So slow, in fact, it took us about 8 months to get our first deal. We just listed our first subdivider in the market. So imagine that every month we're shelling out 10, 15, 20,000 mailers a month going after these deals. We're sending out 30,000 texts a month to go after these deals. And we have sellers coming in, but we're just getting a lot of no's, or we're getting a lot of maybes, and we're working through those maybes, and it's taking months to come to any kind of decision. Or worse, you get into a deal where the seller's saying yes, everything lines up, and then boom, you get hit with some kind of county restriction that you didn't realize. Oh, you've got to pave the road, or oh no, this is actually a setback, this, that, you can't subdivide here, whatever the reason may be. And so we just kept having all of these false starts, and all while that time, we're redirecting our team's attention, we're shelling out marketing dollars, and the only reason we can make that leap, right? Imagine I'm running off of a cliff and I'm making a leap of faith. The only way I could do that is because underneath my feet was this invisible magic carpet, which is our recurring revenue in our business. And so my challenge to you as a land investor is start thinking about your business in terms of a conveyor belt, right? And what you can do is once you build that system, once you have that conveyor belt in place, you can start getting creative with the different avenues for driving revenue into your business that you throw on top of it. Now, frankly, it does not just have to be the two verticals I described here, cash deals and owner finance. That's the playbook we've opted for, but you could be doing, hey, we do cash flips and we do assignments. We do cash flips and we do double closes. Well, each one's gonna have a slight variation to the process, but they're pretty much all gonna run along the same conveyor belt. You might need to add a roll or two to support some of the changes there, but for the most part, the raw material is gonna be the same and it's gonna use a very similar process. And so once you establish that in your business, you can start stacking on these different verticals, which can really explode your growth. Now, I'm a big believer of recurring revenue. I think it creates better decision making. You're never like, oh my God, every month we're starting at zero. You've got this nice cushion to work against. So I'm quite bullish on recurring revenue. Now, I hope this video challenged you to start thinking more like a land entrepreneur and less like a plain old land investor. If you guys want to get in the right room and start hanging out with other land entrepreneurs, click the link down below to join the Leah Discord. See you guys later.